We ought to get it at the school. When are they gonna do it again, Chantal?
Juneteenth. At the
At the meeting house.
meeting house.
Yeah, but the school will be empty by then.
Yeah, but we do a huge celebration on that day.
I know, but getting it into
there
the
last
school,
year. Huh?
getting
It's
it
super
into the
fun.
school.
It would be nice to get in the school. Yeah.
Maybe we could do it on that half day,
Hmm?
there's the half day, the lingering half day.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the Nantucket School Committee meeting for the evening of May 6th. You have before you an agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The committee is being audio and video recorded. Any public comment? Not seeing any. Superintendent's update.
Okay, thank you. I'll start with enrollment. So for the month of May, we are up 2 students. We have 1,723 from 1,721 last month. We see 1 new student at NES, 1 new student at NIS, and no change at the middle and high school. So that's all for enrollment. I'll move on to hiring and staffing. So we have started our hiring season. We currently have 17 teacher positions to fill, and these include 3 positions at NES, 4 positions at NIS, 4 positions at CPS, and 6 positions at the high school. We have officially filled 2 positions at the intermediate school with 5 additional positions across the district that are tentatively filled. They just need to go through some final steps. And we will continue to recruit through School Spring, our website, the Town of Nantucket's website, Indeed, and various job fairs, one of which I will be going to with Eileen Taveras, our HR specialist, tomorrow at Bridgewater State University. So we hope to find some good candidates there. I'm definitely pleased to see some very high-quality candidates that are applying to our positions, and I know that we are just at the beginning of our recruitment, so I'm feeling confident that we will be able to fill our positions with ease. So, of course, I won't say that too quickly, but we certainly hope we can have a full staff again at the beginning of this coming school year. I have wanted to take a moment to congratulate Nantucket High School on their finalized Department of Education 2024 accountability data for the category that is only applied to them, the high school completion category. This data was made public on Friday, May 2nd, and the celebration is that the high school made substantial growth in graduation and dropout rate data from 2024 by earning 11 out of 12 target points in this category. And these new data helped to put the high school at 71% for our annual criterion reference target percentage in 2024. And that's up 16% from 55% in 2023. So kudos to all who have helped keep our students on track towards graduation. This is really something to celebrate. So congratulations out there. Today, Laura Gallagher-Byrne and I attended the MASC annual Day on the Hill in Boston at the State House, where school committee members and district superintendents in Massachusetts convened with state legislators to discuss important legislative priorities and any progress on bills that are on deck for discussion or vote on the House and Senate floor. We met with Representatives Ken Gordon and Bruce Ayers, as well as Senators Jason Lewis and Patricia Jalen, all of whom serve on their respective legislative committees on education. They shared with us 5 key legislative priorities that the legislative bodies are working on. The first one is adjusting Chapter 70 aid for past and future inflation. I think Martin will be happy about that. Currently, they have it at 4.5%, but that is not enough. So they are working very hard to make that adjustment. The next one is improving fiscal health of rural school districts. There are many rural school districts that are not receiving enough aid, and so it is really important. For example, they may have a very small body of students, and with the per pupil expenditure and the per pupil rates, they don't even get enough to hire an additional teacher. So if they have small enrollment. So that is an area that they really are trying to fix. Expanding capacity in vocational technical schools. Currently, the regulations say that there are capacities that are limited, so there are waiting lists across the state for students who really want to get into vocational technical schools, And they would like to expand the number of students that they can have in the classrooms, and some of the legislative requirements around space and everything like that. So they're really working on that, seeing that vocational technical schools are getting a lot of attention and there's a lot of need right now. A lot of students are interested. The third is establishing and funding financial literacy curriculum. We are very pleased to announce that we have financial literacy as one of our graduation requirements. So this is not new to Nantucket. We are ahead of the game. So that's exciting to hear. And the final legislative priority is supporting school committees in the superintendent search process. One particular issue that comes up is that superintendents who are currently seated in different districts often are reluctant to apply for new positions because their candidacy becomes public immediately. So if they are hoping to move out of a district into a different district, they can't do so without it becoming completely public. And the state is trying very hard to make adjustments so that executive session could be open during the very initial parts of a superintendent search, so that there's a certain amount of privacy permitted and afforded to superintendent candidates that don't want the whole world to know yet that they are trying to or potentially applying to other positions, as it could become quite difficult for them moving forward. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. And Laura, you are happy to add anything that might
All right.
be of interest to you.
Yeah.
That I missed.
One, something that I was very interested in was the governor's graduation council, and it is the portrait of a graduate and what skills they should have upon graduation. And they're really looking at that, and particularly with the vocational piece, what knowledge, the social and emotional competency skills. And so there are several opportunities for us to attend, to weigh in on those, and I intend to go on Monday, June 9th. There is one of these gatherings at Barnstable High School, and I think it's open for
Yes, it is.
all educators, and yeah,
This-
Hope is saying
This is very specifically about the competency determination. The state is attempting to identify another way to provide a tool for competency determination, since MCAS has now been removed as the tool that has supported districts in identifying what that is. So this graduation council, which is made up of multiple people, from superintendents to teachers to legislators to students, to discuss how to find something that will be adequate and equivalent to what our MCAS provided, particularly around competency determination. Because right now, as we all know, districts have kind of been left to figure it out on their own. And we did put policy in place, which is what was expected.
Right.
But the state is trying to provide much more specific guidance. And so as part of that, they are offering public opportunities to discuss this.
Yeah.
So that will be on in person on June 9th. They do have a virtual session on June 5th, so if anyone's interested in that, I can certainly send out information about that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and then also just rethinking the high school experience, about the vocational piece, that everything, all roads don't lead to college, and different early college programs, dual enrollment, internships, those sorts of things. There was a lot. I was so glad we were there, because I feel that I learned so much. Also, with the financial literacy piece, they want to put it in beginning K through 12, so that kids start right at the beginning, which is wonderful, and it obviously developmentally appropriate. So that was wonderful. There was just so much, and they talked about transportation and how that kind of underlies access and equity for all of our students, which is a very interesting conversation to have, and that was very eye-opening as well. And then lastly, I should just add that at the State House, the vocational students from various culinary programs, this lunch was unlike anything I feel like I was at a gala. There was like a carving station, there were carving stations, there was so much food, and it was all beautifully prepared, and the students had their chef's jackets on, and it was really lovely, and we had the opportunity to meet some of the interns and some of the staff at the State House. So it was a really for the amount of time we were there, I feel like we really, we learned a lot and we really dug in. So it was well worth the trip. So I'm very grateful that we went.
Excellent, thank you. Couple of other things. This week is Educator Appreciation Week, so I wanted to send out a huge thank you to our teachers and our TAs who work tirelessly every day to support our students, to be their people, to make sure that they are learning and growing and thriving every day. So congratulations to all of our teachers and TAs and other educators that work so hard with our students. Thank you very, very much for all you do. And finally, I think congratulations are in order to our student rep, Cecilia Wendelkin, who is the Nantucket Golf Course Scholar. Congratulations, along with your classmate, Biljana Dunčević. So congratulations to you and Biljana for a very exciting thing that happened last Monday. So
Yeah.
congrats.
Thank you so much.
And happy to answer any questions.
I have none, thank you.
No questions.
What did you have to eat there?
Oh, name something. I had everything. I availed myself
talked
of
about
all. I had a lobster roll. I had what was the, with the raw tuna? There was,
There was poke bowls.
Yes.
There was, they had, lobster rolls. There was a lot of Cinco de Mayo theme because yesterday was Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
So,
red velvet
Oh, all sorts of good
cookies. There was like
homemade fruit roll-ups.
yes.
Some
I
amazing
mean,
things.
it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And then they had like past hors d'oeuvres. Like it was crazy.
If I may, the fascinating thing is they put this together to entice the legislators and staff members to come down to speak with us. So we sat at a table with one of our legislators' staff members and struck up a conversation. I mentioned that we are really needing more assistance with our circuit breaker, and so if they would please and tell Representative Moakley to please support an increased amount of circuit breaker coverage. They mentioned to us that they are trying to move to 90% coverage of circuit breaker, which would give us a huge advantage and major relief, as Martin would certainly share with us. That is probably the number one issue in his life, is making sure that we are funded appropriately for special education.
I'm good, thank you.
Cecilia,
No.
after all the applause. Have we had our reps come to the school?
Yes, actually, we had them come not long ago. High school, do you remember, it was about maybe a month ago, or a month and a half ago? At the end of March, right. So they did come, visited different places, looked at our automotive classroom, and thought, wow, there are some automotive bays. Perhaps we could get more state inspections done in these bays.
Not a bad idea.
But it was nice to have them come. Senator Sear and Representative Oakley both came and toured the high school, so it was nice to have them here.
Veritas update.
Okay, hello, this is Taylor, and I'm Ashley, and we made a little presentation just with some updates on Veritas this year.
You guys might have to scroll, I think. Oh, maybe not. Sorry.
Let's help you. So sorry. No problem. There we go. So all you have to do is just hit the down arrow. Okay.
Wonderful. All right, so overall, I think we can both admit that it wasn't the most successful year for Veritas, unfortunately. We came across a decent amount of difficulties coming with writers and trying to get people to help us finish publication work. And overall, there really was just a lack of interest in the paper for our grade especially. So we kind of just stepped into our roles in order to keep Veritas afloat until the next generation can step up a little bit more.
So we did notice some positives, and some of those were that we gained significant amounts of younger kids, so like freshmen and sophomores, a lot of them were interested. We also noticed that we have some good people that we are thinking about putting in leadership positions because they have proven their ability and their interest. And we have 2 good photographers who are great at what they do and they're interested, and they will be around next year.
Nice.
So the thoughts for our future, in order to set up Veritas for the next few years to be successful, we think we need a little bit more workshop-based environments where we can help teach more of the younger generations, like publication and editing and layout and all that stuff that really only me and Adam know how to do right now, so we can keep Veritas going. Also, our computers are very, very old, and as of right now, we only have 3 computers that have our layout software on them, which makes trying to complete layout very difficult. And seeing as how old they are, it can take up to hours just trying to do layout 1 page, which is not great. So in the future, we do hope to make a little bit more of an investment in some new technology and software.
And then here's a little wrap up. So as we said, we wish that this year was more successful, and we wish that we had been able to complete our jobs better. However, we believe that the incoming leaders with the newspaper will be able to get the newspaper back on track because they are capable. And we are hopeful for the future of Veritas, and we will do best to set up the next generation for success.
Any questions?
Shanta?
Just curious, how is Veritas funded?
I believe it's a student activity account, so.
Ms. Martineau is shaking her head.
Yes. Do you all still do advertising to the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that will come into the student activity account and support Veritas that way.
It's not, I have a couple of comments, not questions. First of all, girls, you should not be so down on yourselves. I mean, you have kept it afloat, and you should be really proud of that. And this is a shameless plug for Dreamland, but I have to say it. So a former Veritas staffer, Nicola Blanc,
I've heard, yes.
yes, she has written a play, and we're doing a stage reading of it at the Dreamland.
I'll be there.
I hope so. On May 16th. And so while it is loosely based on the new, well, it's not. It's actually very much based on the newspaper, but the storyline is not. It's fiction, but I think you'll enjoy it, and it's kind of in a way it sort of celebrates the paper and the experience of being a staffer. So I hope everyone comes. There's just a little bit of a shameless plug, but I appreciate that there's younger students coming on board, and I think that's wonderful. And I mean Veritas is a very big part of the fabric of the school and the community. So bravo to you for keeping it going.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Likewise, congratulations on just making it through. That is in itself a very good achievement, and you should be extremely proud of that. Just a simple question: did you seek any outside help from, say, journalists from either digital or print media, just for
No.
advice?
No. I mean, I've been on the newspaper since my freshman year, so I've already had a decent amount of
Good.
experience with it. Like I said, we've just been trying to keep it afloat because both Abby and I have a lot of extracurriculars that we have going on. So, yeah, we've just kind of been doing our best to keep it going.
I mean, just to say, I mean, I love Veritas. I love reading Veritas. It's the best thing ever. So I've been looking forward to everyone that you've put out, and they've been so well done. You guys have done a great job. Do you know if the younger people who are interested, do you know if they're like committed to staying on and keeping it
Yes.
going?
Yeah. Every person that we've talked to about having a leadership role, they are committed to the responsibilities that come with it.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a bummer to me that it's not going so well. Yeah. Anyways, you guys did a great job this year. So
Thank you very much.
thank you.
I would say that I always look forward to Veritas. I think that There have been very incisive comments in writing, and perhaps some things that were close to going over the line. A former superintendent's car that seemed to have an unusual number of bumps in it. So I think it's important that you guys do what you get kids that are really interested and really want to raise hell. I mean, I think Paige sort of has to rein you in, but you want to have that type of enthusiasm because I think it's so important for the community and for the school, for you guys, to be able to use your voices. I mean, otherwise, people sort of molder along.
Yes.
And we've had some exciting things there. I think Alicia has been involved in some of them, but thank you very much.
Thank you. If I may, through the chair, I just wanted to, first of all, congratulations. It's, it's hard when there's some interest lost at trying to keep things going, but you've done a great job and keep going. Do you have any idea why you think there's been a loss of interest? Is it just people are too busy? What have you heard?
I think it's just the aspect that we're all really busy, honestly. I don't know if there's anyone in our grade that's going into journalism, so that possibly could be a thing. I do know that there's a few younger students that are interested in journalism, so I think that they are great candidates.
Great.
For sure.
So if there's ever any support that you need, either from the school committee or from the superintendent, I'm sure that we would be happy to support in any way.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
In recruitment or interview material or whatever you need.
Thank you very much.
I have another question.
I think if you can get some writing that keeps Paige on edge, it would be good.
Don't stress her out. I have a follow-up question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You mentioned that you have 3 sort of functioning computers right now. How many do you think you would need to really make it more successful?
Well, in past years, we've had each editor go home with a layout computer. As of right now, I believe I'm the only one with a layout computer at the house. And that's really the only thing that works. We have 2 in the Veritas room and 1 at my house. We're gonna need 2 more at least, so we can have them at the editors' houses and in the Veritas room.
If I may, we actually have our tech director here, and she's a good person to talk to about potentially having some additional computers with the layout material, with the layout program. So maybe you want to connect with her, Stephanie Hoban.
Definitely.
Here I am.
Hello.
Thank you.
All right, thank you
Thank you
very
both.
much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Community school update.
And I will be at that landmark.
Thank you.
I'm so ready.
Oh, yay. Thank you,
I have
Alicia.
nipples. I'm a little scared about what this play is going
Well,
to
I
have in it.
mean, yes, it's not for the faint of heart, but it's good.
But you told me there's some Easter eggs.
Yeah, yes.
I'm excited. Well, good to see you all. Because we had our very long meeting weekend, I'm going to keep this very light and quick tonight. And we're just going to talk about a few new offerings that are coming up at the community school and some of our departments. Got a lot going on the last couple of months. So we'll start with adult education. We are bringing back dog training.
Yay.
And there's no one more excited than Katie Bedell back there because she is the cutest new puppy on Nantucket. Leroy Brown, if you've not seen him, is going to be the star pupil of this course. I'm guaranteeing it right now. We're going to have 2 courses. So one is puppy socialization and one is intermediate obedience, is what we're calling it. They're going to be at the elementary school. Chip is very much on board, I think. He's given me permission. He wants to be on board. He likes dogs, so we've determined that at least. The other course we have coming up, we're sort of expanding off of our electrical journeyman course that we have that's very popular. We're going to be offering a construction supervisor course.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be another one of those lifts. It's going to be every Wednesday right here. It's going to be about 3 hours long, these classes. for 7 weeks at a time, but it does end with a certificate, which is great. We've had a lot of individuals taking this course in our testing center to get their certificate. It's like a stack of books and questions. It's really hard to get this certificate, so we're hoping this will help prepare people better for it.
That's great.
And then our final new offering for adult ed, we've been trying to expand our language courses. So right now we're offering French and Spanish courses, and we're hoping in the fall to offer Portuguese for beginners. So that'll be our newest one as well. And then in that same vein, we're going to be offering Spanish for English speakers for children this summer. So that one's still a little bit in flux, but our teacher, Melissa Ramirez, is going to be teaching those classes. Coincidentally, her husband will be teaching Portuguese. He's from Portugal. Yes. Now, lifeguard training we've had in the past, but right now we actually have 2 staff members full-time that can teach it on staff, which is great. So we're offering a lot more courses this spring. We have a restart that started today, actually. We have another one in June. And then we also have 2 full lifeguard certification courses, one in May and June. They are 3-day courses. It's a lot of hours. So we get a lot of camp counselors, lifeguards for the beaches in the summer, because this is actually typically the course they take first, and then they have the open water course. So it's in high demand. And finally, sports and wellness. Jasmine is just booming over there. So we've had a really hard time finding gymnastics instructors, and it's a program that's very, very popular, but it's been a little limited because of that, shortcoming in staffing. What Jasmine's done that's very creative is that she's now trying to do some cheer and tumbling in addition to the gymnastics. She's one of the coaches for the high school team. So she's really in touch with all of our high school cheerleaders. We have some that are working with her to do this program. And it's already basically full. We have 1 spot left.
Wow.
If anyone is a 6 to 12-year-old, it starts next week. She did a little April break course, which was full almost immediately. It was very popular and very, very cute. That's what that picture is from up there. So they have all their little pom-poms and everything. Another course that just came back, we used to do this, is babysitter certification. So this includes CPR first aid, which is really great. Natalie Thompson is doing this course with Jasmine. So Jasmine's doing more of the child care aspect. Natalie's doing the CPR first aid, aspect of this course. We did one on town meeting day, which went really well. That was our first one. We have another one in June, which is full with a wait list. We're going to probably do one more in June. We just are trying to find another date. And then probably a few over the summer, because we haven't done it in so long. There's just a lot of kids that want to do it. Basketball for teens. We have Willie Workman coming back this summer. So he's a professional athlete. He's on a team, I believe it's the Israel team. He'll be here this summer. He's going to do a course for 13 to 16-year-olds. So we already have Vaughn Phillips, and he does our younger basketball program, which is really wonderful. It's very popular. But we're trying to extend it for teenagers now, which will be really nice. And then finally, dance camp. So not cheering and tumbling. It's very different. This is actually just more dance-based. And we have an instructor that's just doing dance this summer, so it'll be wonderful as well.
Nice.
And that is my fun, light update.
It's lovely.
Any questions?
Comment.
Yes.
My husband's so happy that you guys have someone else to teach a lifeguard class. So
Everyone
thank
very
you.
much. But we know that he's busy too.
And then for the dog training, because I too, Bodie might have to compete for cutest puppy on island. Have a new puppy that isn't I've been training him. I'm not very good at it. So.
Well, it's good that I'm not training this course because my dog is probably the least behaved on Nantucket. So it's Meg Galugi, so Olivia's mother. Is it Olivia? Yeah. So she is a professional dog trainer. She's been doing this for years, but it's just been the space that's been an issue. So now that we have a space, there's a lot of interest.
Yeah.
And a lot of puppies that come to this island specifically.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice work. Thank you.
That's great. I won't be bringing my dogs there. It's past the point. How often, I love all the sports and wellness, I love this whole roster, Alicia. How often are they meeting? Like once a week, twice a week, or?
So most of Jasmine's classes, babysitting's a one-off course. It's about 6 hours. So they go for essentially the day. It's a Saturday or a Friday, something like that. For classes like cheerleading, that's a once a week
Okay,
class, an after-school class.
great. Thank you.
Of course. Oh, and basketball's a week. Like it's a week, so it's like a July week and August week.
Oh,
So
nice.
every day for a week.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. This has been marvelous. For the construction supervisor course, do they do the test here as well, or do they do the test elsewhere?
So we
It's all in-house?
offer, they can take the test in our testing center at 56 Center Street.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, and
all
they have
in-house.
been taking it, but I don't think we've yet had someone pass it. We had a gentleman the other day, I think he was one question away, which was heartbreaking. Like it was that close.
But it's all here, it's all still available, and he can retake.
Yes, they can retake it.
I'm just glad that the puppy socialization and training is back. I wish my dog could have benefited from it. He was a little bit too traumatized at the time. He's better now. Not trained.
We can only go forward now with those new puppies.
Exactly.
We missed a generation, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do, I think, I don't know if this came up or not, but, numbers for your construction supervisor course, is it capped? How many participants do you take at a
That's
time?
a good question. Let me see if I have that down here. This one's really new, like as of a week ago. We decided that this was happening. So let me just see if I have it in Brian's notes here. And if I don't, I can find out for you. I would imagine it's a fairly large group because electrical journeyman's usually kept at 30. So it's in this room. I'm going to guess it's about that size, but I'll find out.
That's great. And do you expect that you'll get that many? I mean, I would imagine that this is a highly sought-after course.
Since it's so new, it's hard to say, but just based on how many people have been taking the test, I do think there's a need, and I think it'll probably be a pretty good group for the first one.
Also, how often do your language courses run? Do they run kind of by semester, quarter, how many weeks, and how often?
So I would say it's closer to quarterly.
Okay.
It's a little different depending on the class. So French just came back. It's with Joan Hall, and she's taught for us before, but she was on a little bit of a break. Spanish has been quarterly this year with Ellen, so that's been really wonderful. But we usually take a break in the summer because everyone gets so busy. But we'll see. With the children's courses starting this summer, we'll see who wants to stay on. Spanish was twice a week. It mirrored ESOL. It was actually happening in the same hallway. So we had that whole hallway. We had 5 classes of ESOL and then 1 with Alan for the English speakers. So we'll see. We'll see. Open to everything and all.
Potentially in the future, I would be willing to talk to you about an Italian class.
Ooh. Teaching it?
I would take it.
We'll take that. Valeria also speaks Italian. You guys could
Excellent.
co-teach it. ESOL coordinator.
I didn't know that.
Yes, she's from Uruguay, and her grandmother or her grandfather was from Italy. There's an Italian population
Oh,
there.
wow.
She makes great gnocchi. And speaks
All the
4
better.
languages.
Oh, my, amazing.
I know, this community is amazing. Wonderful people here.
Yeah.
Good, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Is there one after me? Is this it?
Policies,
Okay, we'll leave it alone.
policies.
Yep.
I'm happy to do this. I'm just gonna get the policies up so you can see them. I'll just speak from here if that's okay. 'Cause I have to, the policy subcommittee, who is Laura Gallagher-Byrne and Chantal Boyce-Murphy, and myself, and Katie Waddell, we met and went through the remainder of the I policies. There are quite a few. So what we did is we found a few policies that we are recommending that the committee remove and either replace, or they may be removed also simply because they are outdated. So this is one particular policy, it's IJM, and it's Special Interest Materials Selection and Adoption. This policy has been deleted from mask for many years. So the recommendation of the subcommittee is to also remove it from the Nantucket policy manual. So we will put that to vote shortly. And so happy to let discussion happen before we do the next one.
I don't think it really needs much discussion
No,
from us.
yeah.
It's pretty
I mean,
straightforward.
we were when mask, we typically follow what they advise, unless there's some reason that we would do otherwise that's specific to the island, but that's typically the way the policy procedures have been.
Anything else? Move on? Okay. Policy IKAB is a discussion of student progress reports to parents and guardians. We are suggesting that or we are recommending that the committee adopts IKAB in place of IK. I did provide a paper copy of IK. You would have seen it in your electronic packet. Because I believe it was part of that, so in preparing, you may have read it, but I did print it out just in case you didn't have it in your paper packet. IK is the policy that we currently have in our policy manual, but IKAB is more modern, and it is the recommendation, again, of MASC to utilize this policy as opposed to IK. So that is what policy subcommittee is also recommending. So happy to open this up for.
Isn't that a recommendation that came down from the state, DOE?
The MASC usually follows any recommendations that come from the Department of Education, and they updated this policy in 2023. So IK is basically, IK has, there are a lot of pieces to it that do come into IKAB, so rather than have two policies that are just not, I mean, they're very redundant, we agreed that IKAB was the better policy, more modern and appropriate for what we wanted to use. So.
Yes, thank you. So just in IK, there was one, is part 3. Insofar as possible, distinctions will be made between students' attitude and academic performance. I wish I had that at school, but I can see that it's transferred across here into the piece in the 4th paragraph line. So I can see that it's still here. So stuff like that, I think it's fine.
So that's it, and I'm happy to allow the committee to continue with voting, or if any other questions.
How often are these reports coming out? Is it routinely?
So any updates come out really throughout the year. We get them in a brief that comes out. Katie, I don't know if you want to speak to this.
So on the MASC website, you can go to, I can email you the policy section. They come out every quarterly, but if something is updated, they'll email it out. And they send, it's on the website, and you can reference it there. The IK policy, I'm pretty sure, was removed by MASC in 2017. But you just have to catch it for whatever reason.
But I mean a report to the parents.
Oh,
Does it specify how frequently?
Oh, progress reports to parents. I believe IK does not specific. It's not specific.
No,
to
but
progress reports.
This one, don't we want to have something other than report cards?
We have report cards which come out quarterly, and we have not, as far as I understand, we have not done progress reports that have gone out. I mean, teachers and students, that was a long time ago that progress reports went out.
But if kids are not performing up to a level, aren't there not reports that are supposed to go to the parents?
If I may,
Yeah.
so in the IKAB policy, it states that there will be, in the event that a student's performance warrants attention, that teachers will reach out to the parents and inform them of it. But there's it doesn't specifically say, once per month you're required to send a progress report home.
But if a kid's having trouble,
For the chair, it does say that, in addition to the parent reports, parents, guardians will be notified when a student's performance warrants attention.
should send something
or if
home.
they're in danger of.
And separately, if I may, I know it's at the grade school level, but I've seen a lot of interaction with teachers, and they just like to give you the information regardless. They just like to tell you just a quick hi drop off, or sorry, mainly a pickup, and that's a very valuable thing in its own right. You can also very quickly pick up if the teacher wants to talk to you or not. So I know it's the more social situation, but it is also very valuable.
I'm just thinking, if we have a non-English speaking family, how are they gonna be apprised of the fact that the kid's not reading at grade level?
Fair?
So, our assistant principal, from CPS said that progress reports are sent home at the middle school level. So, how often does that happen? Middle of each trimester? Okay.
It's through the grade level. It's like, handed to the students at the grade level. It's not through the school.
So it's grade level, not through the school, okay. Progress reports have not been a requirement. However, the idea is that teachers should be speaking with parents, guidance counselors as well, if and when there is a need because students are not doing well. I mean, we have tools in place, Remind, that allows for translation. We also have a district translator, so if we need to reach a parent, we can use a district translator to reach that parent and set up a meeting or share information that way. So, and we use them regularly.
We have some hands from our other
If you
assistant
want to speak, can you
principals.
come up here because they can't hear from, thank you.
Well, no, you raise a good point, though.
It's also not saying that you don't issue progress reports.
Right, but
You know.
I mean, it does beg the question, should
Hi,
it be?
Jen Saradellis,
like
assistant
Adrian was
principal at
saying?
the high school. At the middle school, at the high school, progress reports are a requirement from our teachers. We advise all teachers to be in constant communication with parents regarding progress. Our hope is that they'll be reporting home when good things are happening at school, as well as if students start to dip, so teachers monitor that closely and report home. We have lots of different supports if there are parents that are non-English speaking. So we have staff resources in the district that we use to communicate home with parents, but we also have tech tools that we use to communicate in different languages home to parents. The minimum requirement is that teachers are reporting out at mid and end of each of the 4 quarters, but our teachers are communicating more regularly than that.
That's
So I
great.
just wanted to offer that information as well.
Thank you, Jen.
Good evening, Michael Horton, Cyrus Pierce Middle School principal. We are on trimesters, so we have report cards every 60 days. I think we're talking about progress reports. We don't do progress reports midway through formally. As someone who's worked in this district 25 years, there was a point where parents were asking for weekly updates. And some teachers were doing it, some teachers weren't doing it. So what happened is we moved from paper deficiency notices, progress reports, to open grade books. So classroll.com started. So at the moment, we have Schoology, which is live to the second, okay? And there is some responsibility at the middle school and I would say the high school level that students and parents are looking at their grades, so it's up to the minute. So it's not like a parent saying, hey, I need a report this Friday. They just have to look in Schoology. And that resolved some of this, which I don't know how old it is relative to the MASCA going back to 2023, but we have live up to the minute grading. I can share, though, that our guidance counselors, as Jen just talked about, do a very good job. I went to 3 meetings already this week, and it's already Tuesday, that your student is failing this last trimester. You are close to failing for the year. And so it's parent conversations. So we have the report cards. Schoology is live up to the minute grading, and we certainly call parent meetings in when we notice that students are struggling. I don't know if there's any other questions I can answer, or Adrian wants to add anything?
No, I just wonder more, I think at the middle school, high school, it's a little more obvious, but at NES and NIS.
I don't want to speak for the elementary school and the intermediate school, but as someone who worked as an assistant principal, it's slightly different when the classroom teacher is connected with 22 kids, and they're constantly in contact with in communication with those parents. It's just slightly different. I don't know if Donna wants to elaborate on that, but it happens very naturally that parents, instead of having to communicate with 120 kids like it is set up in middle school and high school, you know those 20 families pretty well, and the teachers do a great job of communicating and reaching out.
Well, I'm just concerned that parents don't know the questions to ask. I mean, I would suspect that there are parents that don't quite may rely on the good graces of the school without holding our feet to the fire. I don't know what people feel about that.
If I may, are you suggesting that we then write a policy around this?
No, I just think that I would like to see a more aggressive approach, particularly at NES and NIS. Because I think by the time they get to middle school or high school,
Yeah.
if they aren't up to snuff, they're not likely to catch up.
I'll say two more things, and I don't know if Donna wants to jump in. There is also a problem that even when we have live grades, and even when we publish report cards every 60 days, there's a good number of parents who don't even open those or check those. We have some data from the past of that people aren't looking at Schoology. We've made that change to make sure students realize when they get to age 12, 13 years old, it's their grades. It's not their parents' grades, it's their report card, okay? They want to know how they did. So we're kind of driving them to take some responsibility and be a little bit competitive with their performance in school. And that's one of the motivators we utilized recently to try to help us, beat the vineyard in our MCAS testing in the days of when MCAS testing is being removed of being a graduation requirement. We had to somehow rally the troops. So there is that concern. Even if you were to do something every week, you may not necessarily have people looking or reviewing. Having it live, up to date, to the minute, and our teachers are very good about keeping those up. It's on the parents to monitor that. And when there's a problem, we say, hey, well, have you been looking? Here's how you look. The last thing I'll say for the elementary school and middle school, those parents do read the report card. Okay, those parents read it to a T because they have narratives. We might have drop-down comments like canned comment codes, like 2 per class. Most parents, I would say, aren't necessarily looking for whether it's meeting expectations or partially meeting expectations on the different standards in each subject, but they read the narrative descriptions, and that goes back to the relationship between that classroom teacher and the 22 students in each of those classrooms. So it is slightly different. I don't think we need to have progress reports regularly for that reason. It's a little bit of a trust, but I was reading this in the packet earlier. It's not listed, which is why you're asking the question. Like, should there be a minimum number, or how often? I'm just reporting on my 25-year history. There was a concern: should we be reporting out more often? And that's when we moved to live grade books, and it was classroll.com. It was MMS at first. Remember that? Then it was classroll.com. And I don't know if there's something in between. Maybe Jen or Tracy might remember. But Schoology,
It was Aspen.
Aspen still exists, but as a report card. But the date where we store the grades is actually in Schoology. I don't know if Donna wants to elaborate on anything.
Step right up here, Donna.
Hey, how are you? Donna Johnson, assistant principal at NIS. Like Mike said, it is just a more holistic view, I think, than having an A, B, C, D, F grade like CPS and NHS may have. We really speak in terms of a child being on grade level, meeting grade level standards, or below, or exceeding above. Parents are in touch with teachers are in touch with parents on a more routine basis. Our parents love the app Remind because it translates, and I think it's easy for parents because it just pops up as a text message, and not everybody reads email. We do, when we have students who are going, receiving intervention support, there is information that goes home to the parent explaining why they are getting intervention support, what that is going to look like, and they get progress reports on that. So if they're below grade level, parents are getting that communication. In addition, if a child is referred to MTSS before we even come to the table to talk about how we're supporting that student, they need to document at least 2 conversations or exchanges with parents that have happened in terms of the concern that the teacher has for the child. So it's a little bit different than your child has a 34% and this is the midterm and we need to get that up, because it's just kind of a longer progression. They do get the report cards, which show specifically which standards they're meeting, partially meeting, or not meeting in. We do send those home because I think the read rate, if you don't send it home hard copy, is between 30 and 40% through Aspen. So we do send that home with kids along with our MAP assessment data, parent report, which also shows where students are in terms of their achievement and their growth. And that's another thing that teachers are communicating with families in terms of not all of our kids are starting on the same foundation. And so we know that achievement is going to look different when you're just like, are you on the third grade level? But what we want all kids to be doing is growing. So we're sharing that data with families in terms of growth and achievement. I don't know if that answers everything that you're.
Yeah. Thank you, Donna.
So pardon the interruption, errors, mistakes, omissions. Adrian, rightfully, as assistant principal at CPS, reminded me that we do send out midterm progress reports. It's not progress report in my definition of what I used to think of a progress report, but it's a grade report from Schoology that each grade level sends home, and the parents have to sign it and bring it back. And each grade level handles that. So that was a mistake. So thank you for correcting me on that. And then Donna talked about 30-40% of opening. So CPS, we didn't always send the report cards home when we were relying on these digital grade books, but the last several years we have returned to doing that. And our front office staff, Kristen Holgate, Renee Manning, help us over to central office to meter all those envelopes to mail out 363 report cards 3 times a year. And people like the paper, put it in the fridge, or be proud of it. So it's an opportunity for people to kind of celebrate the successes, because it's not all bad. There's a lot of great report cards too. Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Whatever. Do we have any other policies?
We can just go back to doing close up.
Okay. Well, having beaten that to death, committee discussions and votes to be taken. Vote to remove policy IJM, special interest materials selection and adoption. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A vote to remove policy IK, academic achievement and student progress.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A vote to adopt policy IKAB, student progress reports to parents and guardians.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A vote to approve the Nantucket High School overnight field trip to the Galapagos. I guess they've already gone.
Yes.
April 16th. Well, next year.
Yeah.
April 16th to April 21st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A vote to approve April 1st, 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A vote to approve transfers and invoices.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cecilia, you're up.
Before you go to
Oh, yeah.
Cecilia, For the Galapagos field trip, massively jealous. I'm an ecologist, got like degrees in wildlife management, and if they want anything, or all the
Or
Darwin
chaperone.
books, a chaperone, or the Darwin books, I've got them all. In fact,
That's fairly shameless.
I'm going to help kids if they need it.
I went last year. It was the best trip of my life. It was amazing. Yeah.
We were talking about that.
Cool. Very good. Cool. Hi, everyone. Yes, so we are now officially 1 week into school after April break. Just a little note, 40 of us high schoolers went to Europe with Mr. West, and it was fantastic. He did a great job. It was his first time doing a school trip, and he did a great job of organizing it. Miss Sarah Dallas was with us. So much fun. We learned a lot about World War II.
Where'd you go, Cecilia?
We did England, France, and Germany. So, London, Normandy, Paris, Cologne, and Berlin. It's a great trip. What was it? Oh, yes. And, yeah, I just wanted to say, the Monday when we returned, the golf club scholarships were announced, and I can speak for myself and the other 19 recipients. It was an amazing night. The support from the community has been amazing. We're all so grateful. I'm grateful especially, but I think everyone is just really, really happy that we get to be a part of this fantastic community. So it's really great. I also wanted to just bring a little attention. I think some people noticed it, but almost half of the professional scholar recipients credited Miss Douglas and her program, her nursing program, for their inspiration into nursing and the medical field, and I just thought that was really amazing. I don't know if any of you know Miss Douglas well, but like, I just thought that was really cool. I was so shocked every time. I mean, not shocked because I took her class and I loved it, but
Yes, Douglas.
yeah.
I know her very well.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Anyways, I just wanted to. That was a little note of mine. Second AP testing has started. We kicked it off yesterday with biology and chemistry today. And for the next week and a half, there will be many more. So we're all prepping furiously. Also coming up is junior prom at the Great Harbor Yacht Club on Saturday the 17th. Tickets are being sold this week, so if anyone knows a junior, tell them to go to prom. They're all the class officers for the junior class are working very hard, and I think it's going to be a great prom. It's masquerade themed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then really just we had a massive sports week. There was a lot of games last week. Last Monday, boys lacrosse beat Groton Dunstable. Am I pronouncing that right? Okay. Sailing won against Sturgis East 3-2. On last Tuesday, girls lacrosse beat Dennis Yarmouth 17-2-15. Last Thursday, softball lost to Falmouth 22-7. Girls tennis lost to Monomoy 4-1. Girls lacrosse won against Dennis Yarmouth 17-5. Boys tennis lost to Monomoy 5-0. Last Friday, baseball won against Rising Tide 20-3. Girls lacrosse won against Falmouth 9-5. Boys lacrosse lost to Falmouth 10-3. And then just yesterday, both the boys and girls tennis won against Rising Tide 5-0. Softball beat Martha's Vineyard 22-6, and girls lacrosse beat Martha's Vineyard 14-7. So we've had a massive week for sports, which was great. Any questions?
Thank you.
No questions?
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Subcommittee workshop.
Well,
Yeah,
we had a policy meeting.
Yeah. Good policy. Good.
Policy.
Yeah, and we had a net meeting
Oh, yeah.
that we didn't say anything about. And that happened. And it was, we had a facilitator. It was actually very nice, and it was a kind of a we had a dinner at the Brotherhood, and we talked about housing, of course. So that was a couple of weeks ago. I just had forgotten to mention it. Yeah.
We have completed ESP negotiations.
Yeah.
So we will be presenting at the next meeting an MOU for that, for the coming year. So we are very happy to have finished that. It was a very successful negotiations on both sides.
Yes, I never enjoyed any negotiations more than I enjoyed that. So that was really nice. I'm still in town meeting fog, so I'm forgetting all the subcommittee meetings that we've had.
I bet.
So thank you all.
Okay, agenda for the next meeting?
Sure. So I will be keeping you abreast of hiring and staffing as we go through that. Special education will be really our focus, special services. So special education, social emotional learning, and student support. And we will have our special education parent advisory council. So they will really be focusing. We will have a few other policies that we will bring to you because we have a policy meeting on May 12th, and there are a couple of things that are going to be important to bring to the committee. We have a policy around our mobile crisis and how we conduct that, and potentially a policy around cell phone usage and media, social media in schools during the day. So we'll bring that to you and have that discussion.
Great.
Any comments?
No, sir, thank you.
Yes?
All happy.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.